I said perfect balance trod class. I don't know, see, I talk to the this represents. Good over evil, me tell them, see a life over death.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Perfect Balance Trod Class, a place where conscious-minded and like-minded individuals are guided towards a full potential, realizing their full potential through collective reasoning. We have with us today Yaga, aka Teacher Ma'at, Bingi, Okavango, the Rebel Guru, and a very, very regular member of the Trod Class, Brother Dulani. Welcome, everyone. How are we? Everything great?
Outstep.
Yeah, man, everything.
Outstep. Give us his smile and
Everything.
great energy.
Rise up.
You'll rise up, people.
Yes.
We always enjoy the balance view section of the program, and today we seem to have a very interesting one. So we're going to turn over to Brother Okavango without any further ado as he leads out in this portion or section of the balance views. Brother Okavango.
Give thanks, Russ, that again, the balance view section of the program is the section of the program where we discuss current affairs. And currently, I want to use this topic as a base to talk about corruption overall with African people, because corruption is a big thing in the African community, African countries, and I mean overall. So we're going to talk about this headline. The headline reads, "Outrage as NEPA drops Recovery oil spill case." Right? A leading environmental group and parliament opposition are expressing outrage over National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA decision to withdraw criminal charges against Tradewinds Citrus Limited for pollution of the Recovery River. The oil spill, which occurred in December 2023, impact water supply for communities in St. Catherine and section of St. Andrew. The case initially pursued by NEPA was unexpectedly dropped following confidential agreements between the company, NEPA, and the Natural Resource Conservation Authority, that's NRCA. Right, so basically what happened, the a oil spill from Jamaica Citrus Limited went in the recovery, pollute the river, kill up a lot of fishes and things and stuff. And criminal charges were brought again by NEPA, who is the authority on the environment. So the case was in court, and then the company, Jamaica Citrus Limited, and let me call it right. Now Jamaica Citrus Limited, the name was changed. Tradewinds Citrus Limited, right? They and NEPA had a backdoor agreement that had nothing to do with the court. They had what they call that? A undisclosed agreement. So when the judge asked for the agreement, they say it was undisclosed. This is a public company.
No, they have an NDA. They have an NDA.
Non-disclosure. I'm saying undisclosed. Non-disclosure. Non-disclosure. So not even the judge, it is could hear what was said behind closed doors. So what I talk about it a little bit. I
have a question. Were there any civil charges? Because I know they said no criminal charge. Were there any civil charges?
I believe there are some civil charges.
He said criminal charges.
There are some civil charges, yes.
Were they civil?
There are certain groups that have a civil case against the company.
I'm not sure about the civil charges. I know it was criminal charges. Again,
right.
There are civil charges.
Difference, you know. With the criminal case, it's different from the civil case. With civil, you deal with the money part.
Right.
Yeah.
Criminal, I deal with the incarceration and prison and all that.
Yeah.
So, but we have to make a distinction because compensation is needed.
Right.
Restore.
There are civil cases. I'm looking for the body that had the civil case against them. So once I pull it up, I'll tell you.
All right, go on. All right. Yaga, you want it off?
Yeah, man. I cannot understand how the judge who is supposed to be presiding over this matter is not allowed or privy to see the information. So if you have a deal as company and the prosecution, then there must be disclosure to the court to say, this is the agreement that we have. We're not going to pursue the matter in the court. So we are asking you to have a look into this and let's settle it outside of the court. And that did not happen. That is a letdown of the people in the community who was affected by this oil spill. And the event took place in 2023. It is a letdown, and you know, it also damaged the environment, and there are people who depend on the livelihood of the river. So they must be compensated for the loss of their livelihood. And this is a kick in the teeth. This is public information. It should be out there in the public. There is no secrecy around it. Why is there a secrecy around it?
Yeah.
Money,
The NEPA should be representing the public.
The group that is bringing the civil case against the company is called Friends of the Rio Cobre. Friends of the Rio Cobre.
Because I would say that's where the money part comes into the play. Because in the criminal part of it, you don't necessarily have money to go on this up.
No.
Over the
The
civil section.
The money, brother Delani, is the accountability.
Yes. There
You
must
understand?
be
To be held
accountability.
accountable.
Yes. But
You
I don't
know?
want to guarantee you that there is definitely that part where people can be compensated for the loss of
Yes,
their
man.
livelihood.
So
basically,
the group that's doing is the
also-
Friends of the Rio Cobre.
Right. So
Yeah.
I was reading something about them. So they're right. They're right that because I was reading. I was watching a clip with them, and the president of that association was talking about that. So, but that's different from NEPA but NEPA is supposed to a criminal charge because that's what their job. Yeah. So no money is supposed to be involved with them.
It's just accountability.
Exactly.
It's just accountability.
Because you're talking about accountability, and if there was a deliberate, if there was a neglect, if there was some type of
Malpractice.
malpractice that took place,
Malpractice.
then they have to be held accountable. And that finding will also be bearing on the civil case.
Civil case, yes.
Exactly.
So
when you throw that out now, it weakens the civil case.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can get a conviction, you can strengthen your civil case argument.
Yeah.
Matt, teacher Matt.
If this is allowed to happen, it sends a message to other companies that it is okay to ignore the environmental damage and the impact things can have on the environment. And this line that is representing this company, and to give you a context about the company, because growing up we know the company by the name of its owner, and the owner at the time was citrus company McConnell. And then won the citrus company. So that for people who wants to have a context of what we're talking about, and is not familiar with Tradewinds company, that is the company that we're referring to. And we are not saying anything nefarious towards them, but we're talking about the process of what went on in the court. And there should be clear transparency, and it should be clear. A clear message should be sent that this is not okay, it's not acceptable to damage the environment and cause harm to the environment. And the same lawyer that is representing this company is the same lawyer that is representing the backside company, Windalco.
Yeah.
So obviously people up in arms about this is quite concerned. So we need to know what's going on.
I would add to that, teacher Maya, by saying that not only does it send a wrong message about accountability, it's about the ability to make the deal privately without overseeing from a judge. I find that to be irregular.
No. You see, what had happened, Brother Delani, is that they had the case, right? And then the position was preferred to say, listen, before we go to court, go to mediation.
Mediation.
So it was in mediation now that them come about and say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. So this is what create the problem now, because them do it in a mediation, and then when them come to the court now to present the terms of the mediation, and the judge said, okay, what are the agreements? Them say, no, we have an NDA, so we can't disclose the agreement.
What do you think about the whole thing?
I think that is just another example of people who have the money to cover up their misdoings and wrongdoings, and they, because they have the money to do it, they're able to do it. And another example of people who are in a position of responsibility, who, because of their desire for a quote unquote better way of life or a more comfortable way of life, they are willing to sell their principles and sell their position, you know, to the highest bidder. So because I am in a position where I can write a signature, and my signature is going to say, okay, this case is over with, it's done, I am willing to sell this signature to the highest bidder. So if you're going to give me something that I consider is worthwhile, then I will sign it, irrespective of the consequences to the citizenry, irrespective of the effects to the environment and our homeland, then I will do it. So that is my position on it. I think that it's a excellent representation of the corruption which exists in our community, and I believe that people who are in these positions, right, who do these sorts of things, should be held accountable.
Give thanks.
You know,
Bingy, we know your voice on it yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the item covering much everything, but accountability, right? I take into consideration accountability, and there's no accountability here. But not only that, it seems like the law itself is being circumvented, right? When you think about an NDA being applied, in this instance, so it looks like like they circumvented the law. Then, like, is this really legal? Can they really do this? But again, the environment, of course, these companies are showing that they have no real responsibility towards the environment or the people who depend on these waterways or their land for sustainable living, right? The other thing is, I think out of all of this, though, it just shows you that once you have money, and this happens all the time, right? This is just, we talking about Jamaica, but
It's
this
not a
is something
Jamaican
happening
thing.
every day,
Yeah.
everywhere on planet Earth, and it just shows you when you have money, right? When you actually have money, how you could bend every rule then, right? We see the
fit your
biggest
thing.
companies in the world have major oil spills, Exxon Mobil, all of them. And what they get a slap on the wrist,
The
brother.
wrist.
A slap on the wrist. But
this
what
is
these
not even a
companies
slap on
are
the wrist,
worth,
brother Bingy.
eh?
That's the issue, you know. This is not
It's
even
a
a
slap
slap
in the
on the
face.
wrist.
No, but it's the same thing, right? Because when you're
No,
thinking
we
about
no,
the
we agree,
trillions of
Bingy.
dollars,
We agree,
Let
Bingy.
him finish.
What we're saying.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, even in this case, right? They walk away, but even to not to take away from what I'm saying, this happens all the time, right? But in this case specifically, they do a number of things that just glaring, right? It at least these other companies go through these processes
Yes.
and they make it look good. Here it's
Yes.
just glaring.
Yes.
But I would say I saw that the NEPA chairman resigned.
I
It
think
was
it's
in
a
the
position.
I was
I
in
think it's
NEPA.
a okey-doke.
I was in the NEPA. It was on the
And that's the rule, man.
NRCA.
Is the end
Eh?
up? Is the NEPA?
Yeah,
Is the NEPA? Is the
NEPA
chairman?
chairman
Madam.
And
resigns
that's the rule.
Huh?
after controversial
What name?
charges.
Madam. Well done, madam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
And that's the
is
rule.
it in the NRCA chairman that because it's
No,
like the two
he's
coming
the
together.
NEPA
now.
chairman.
NEPA
He was the NEPA
chairman.
chairman. But
Hmm?
I think that's a okey-doke, you know.
It
I
don't
think that's a
matter.
okey-doke.
Yeah.
I think it's a okey-doke because think about it, right? You are the person that's in mediation, right? And you are the head of NEPA. So that means that you are a part of the
Of
mediation,
course.
right? Okay. So now when you are in this mediation and this decision is come to, how you never so adamant in your position that you can say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that. So if that is all you're bringing to the table, then we're going to proceed with this case. Because remember, that's the purpose of mediation, you know. Can we come to an agreement that we don't have to take the court's time to solve this problem? So if you get to the point of when the mediation where they're saying, this is what we're suggesting and putting forward, and you say, no, that's not what we do. That means we're going to court. But no, the mediation is complete and we agree on it. So what is the point now of coming forward and say, oh, I'm so disgusted with this position and I'm going to resign. I tender my resignation immediately.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to resign because you collect already.
Yeah.
You're going to resign because you collect
Right.
already.
Right.
You
Yeah, just
understand?
resign.
Brother Donnie, Brother Donnie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
what's your
and
overall view on this?
my view is that from everything I've heard so far, it seems to be um, a neglect of the public interest.
Yes.
It's like the public don't deserve no, explanation, don't deserve no transparency, don't deserve to know nothing. Just the hell with the public, we just do a private deal, and that's it. And I think we have to be more accountable to the Jamaican public. You know what I'm saying? And to that community that was
True.
affected by this. You know what I'm saying? So I think that more need to be done. And I don't know what the specific law on the books is in regard to these type of cases, but they need to have the public interest high up there in regards to these kind of agreements. What
Yeah.
will be the impact on the public and the people in that community? That is my main concern.
Not
Yeah,
just a slap in the face.
The
Yes.
thing is, the fact that, and this is my view on it, the fact that this can happen is just ridiculous. How can a company that is supposed to be serving the public interest have a backdoor deal with a company that have criminal charge against them and it's undisclosed so the public can know nothing about it? It's like, it seems like it just a man and a man go behind closed door and make a little deal and say, okay, we're not going to tell nobody about this. All right, just hold this and hold that and everything good now. All right.
Money
It
You
roll.
know
does
what I
seem
mean?
like
So
it
what
does
about
seem
the
like-
public? This is supposed to be a public company. Everything they do shouldn't be in secret.
That's
But-
fair.
Everything they do should be they should have no secrecy in this company because it's a public
That's correct.
company. They should be in the public interest. That's like somebody commit a crime, maybe violate somebody, and the police show up and say, okay, what do you do? Okay, all right, let's talk about it and make a little deal. And let's say, okay, we talk about it. So drop all charges against it. So the victim get no justice.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And another thing too is this, right? This company is in the process of dealing with these things and they're in this location. So there's a possibility of a repetition of something of this nature. So what safeguards are not put in
Safeguards.
place
Yes.
to say,
To make
how
sure
can we
this will happen
prevent
again.
this from happening in the future?
So
And
no
in the event
repetition.
that this happens, what steps are in place to clean this up and fix
So
this
the
up?
first thing that has to happen, the NEPA all them need to resign because they are not serving the interest
purpose.
of the people. They need to resign. As Yaga said, heads have to roll. This is madness. This is madness. So all them need to go. First, they need to we need an explanation because it can't just happen like this. First, that non-disclosure agreement need to change. We need to know what's going on, and then all them need to go and we get new people who are serving the best interest of the people. But as I said earlier, hold on there. As I said earlier, we know in the African community, we're talking about black people. We want to talk about on a wider scale now, because this have corruption written all over it. And we were talking to Brother Clifton the other day, and he told us something about him wanting to do something in Africa. He had to pay somebody first before you could try to help the people.
You pay
And
for
this
an
is-
introduction.
Pay to play.
You pay for an
Yeah,
introduction.
so
Exactly.
and you find these things, is plaguing our African community. Someone willing to put something in their pocket, or if not, they don't want to help their own people. So there's no patriotism or nothing like that. You know what I mean? It's corruption,
True.
like the whole African, people
Yeah,
right
man.
across the board. If you talk
Yes,
about Haiti, anywhere in Africa, it's corruption. You know what I mean?
Poverty and
Like,
money
so
breeds
why you
corruption.
think? Why
Yeah,
we
man.
think this is? You know what I mean? We put like just line in our pockets in front of the people. Why, Brother Lani? What do you think that is?
Yeah, something, my brother. You speak about Africa. I don't know if you know about the Nile Delta. the Delta region in Nigeria.
Mhm.
There are some pipeline running through that region, and they are the oil
Yes, man. I
is
see them, man. I
spilled
see them. I see them, man.
into the river,
Yes,
and
man. I see it.
Shell Oil is running those operations, and the people them have been calling for decades
Yes, man.
for those places to be recognized and to be cleaned up and to be dealt with, and still to this day they
No
are
action
polluting
taken.
the whole delta. So I see that wholesale corruption by these corporate and entities, man, that need to be held accountable.
Well,
That's
Yeah,
that's
man.
why we
and
have
when it comes to
that's why
Nigeria, just to add to it, it's two reasons, because Shell already making their money, and because you also have oil theft going on in Nigeria,
Right.
where
Right.
people are stealing the oil and
Exactly.
calling the oil
yes,
spill. But guess what? Because a man make money off of that,
corruption.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it's
Corruption at its
corruption.
Corruption.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Dada,
So
what do you
honest,
think
man.
about this whole corruption? Let's just go right across the
Because
African.
as brother Delane just saying now, when say poverty and these things breed the corruption, because you see what happen, and this is why I'm always call for a shift in our mindset as a people. Because we cannot just view things just on the premise of, and I will use a example of a person like a Dave Chappelle, right? Who the world considered was given the opportunity of a lifetime, and him turning back on it because him saying not going to put him
Readdress.
integrity at risk just for a AD,
Money.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody
Integrity.
ridicule him and said him mad, him this, him that.
My
$50
idiot.
million? What? Can't happen.
Mhm.
And to the day, the success that he has received as a professional in his field,
Mhm.
if he had taken that $50 million, I don't think he would have seen that success. Or even if
It made
he
him
did,
stronger.
I
It
don't
made him
think he would
better.
be as comfortable with himself
Mhm.
today. So, if we don't change our mindset, when we don't only see things from a point of view of, you know what? I eat a food, I have to eat a food, If
Eat
we
a
don't
food
get out of
mentality.
this eat a food mentality, brother, then there is no solution to corruption. Because as soon as somebody put a food in front of you, you go eat. You
Bingy.
understand?
Yeah.
So I just said
Bingy.
that.
Yes, So I think Ras, even to that point, there'll be no end to that corruption, right? Because they're really talking about man and his development, right? How he develops. So I think corruption also be in there. But back to this whole NEPA thing, one of the things that hit my eye when I read the story too is, NEPA said that Citrus Limited had assumed the responsibility for the cleanup and exceeded the amount of money that is capped on the key cleanup, right? And this is what really got to me, right? They said, of course, right, under the Wildlife Protection Act, the offense maximum amount is $100,000 for breaches.
And that can't do nothing.
That really caught my eye because I was like, $100,000 for breaches?
For breaches.
What does that really mean? How
What is
could
that?
that be a
That's a
cap?
joke.
How could be that
That's petty
number
cash. That's not even petty
mentioned?
cash.
Yeah, what
That's
is
not even
that?
petty cash.
So, but it also shows you that this whole NAPA thing needs restructuring. The
No, but that wouldn't be
Wildlife
NEPA, no.
Protection
That wouldn't be
Act.
NEPA, no. That wouldn't be NEPA, no. Bingy. That would
Well,
be
no,
the
this is
laws
Wildlife
of the
Protection
country.
Act.
Yes, the laws
So,
of the country is what
right,
needed.
so
Because
that being
if I might time
environment,
something to that, if I can time something to
Parliament
that,
itself. Parliament
other
itself
day
should be held
they had a
accountable.
restructuring of even the firearms law or the act of punishment against the firearms in Jamaica, illegal firearms. I think it was $100 something like that as the fine if them hold you with an illegal firearm.
Yeah, man. A lot of those laws, that are some old laws from colonial, they never changed.
Archaic.
But even that being said, though, if a company meet that then and that is the cap and then completely clean up, what happens then? Now
They
you
don't
go
have a
back to
legal
court.
responsibility to do it. Can them reach the cap?
Right, they reach a cap. So even at that, I mean,
And we know that those damages tend to be generational damages
yeah.
and have ecological implications in many, many years and decades to
Yes,
come.
sir. Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
100,000 don't even begin to
It's a
address
joke.
those
That's a
issues.
joke.
100,000 Jamaican.
That's a joke.
Oh, we are saying Jamaica? No, man,
Yes,
they got to be kidding me.
100,000 Jamaican.
A Jamaican, man, Jamaican.
No, man, I don't believe that.
Jamaican.
A
Yes.
real thing,
Don't
brother.
believe that.
Yes.
Yeah,
real
man.
thing,
I'm
brother.
100,000.
Jamaica,
100,000
no,
Jamaican.
man. They
Yeah,
got to
man.
be kidding, man.
You some go spend on
No,
a
no.
roche.
I tell you, that's a joke. A complete joke that them have to come better than that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can't do
So all
they
them have to
can't
do,
disrespect.
I spend 100,000 and 101,000. And they
Yeah, and it
exceed.
done.
Them exceed it.
They exceed the
You know what I
amount.
mean? So that's how beautiful.
100,000
You know-
and 50 cents.
You know, one of the reasons for the embezzlement and these bribery and nepotism that we are seeing in many of our places, by many of our leaders, by many of our heads of organizations and institutions is poor governance. Poor governance and the necessary framework that is supposed to enforce the law is weak. The regulatory bodies that are supposed to be carrying out their job lack the independence and the capacity to do the investigation and enforce the laws that is supposed to protect the public and the community at large with these issues. So we need to strengthen, these institutions and basically enforce the laws. If it is funding, they need to find the funding so that they can go and do the investigation that needs to be done and brought those to justice who are breaking the law. It is not acceptable. Totally unacceptable. And head of a rule, man. It's not real.
Yeah,
That's why
man.
we charge
So-
genocide and ecocide.
So we are called for that non-disclosure to be none and void. Yeah, man. We are called for that. The public need to know what's going on.
Disclose it. We want to see it. We want to
Yeah,
know why
man.
it.
That need to be disclosed. We want to see who
The
get
man
what.
come easily.
And not
I will
only,
want
and
to know-
not only that, but we want those who are guilty to be held accountable.
complicit.
Held
That's
accountable.
correct.
Yeah, man.
All
I
those
want
in
to know-
collusion.
And we want to know, yeah, more that if it's a food they get, we want to know how much they get. Yeah, because
correct.
somebody get a piece of food.
Food run.
And
Food
more
run.
than
Somebody get
100,000.
a piece of food run.
And
I
I'm more than
want to know
100,000.
how much. Yeah, we want
I'm
to know
more
how
than
much.
100,000.
I
But
would
right
like
now,
that
but right
community-
now, the government contributing to the implicit action of the companies, right? Based on the acts that they have in place.
Right.
So they need to go back to
the position
parliament.
NEPA is taking, that they're saying
Yeah.
it has set a dangerous precedent.
Yes, sir.
It has
Yes.
set a dangerous
Means-
precedent.
We have to
Yeah.
follow the money, Mr. Bongo. We have to follow the money and see
Follow the money.
those
Follow the
who are
money.
involved and where their money is going and who they are supporting and why a decision like this was made and why we
Yeah,
have a
man.
decision like this in front of us now. So we need to
Yes.
follow the money.
No,
Plus,
One
I
final,
wanted to investigate this case a bit further.
I'm on it.
one
Yeah,
final
brother
thing I
Delani.
would say that these laws need to be updated. These laws need to be updated to
Yes.
address the
Yes.
present
They're
condition of our
archaic. They are
people.
archaic.
And
They are
they are
archaic.
archaic, exactly. These laws are
They're
outdated. It
archaic.
seems like they need to be proper environmentalists and ecologists to sit down and write these kind of laws.
Mhm.
But
But
it's
this
gonna
is
be
what
tough in the
NEPA is
future.
supposed to be doing. This is what NEPA is tasked with.
Yeah.
I was privileged.
Well,
privileged
it's
in
all like they're compromised. It's all like they're compromised.
Mhm.
I was privileged.
Based on the
Obviously.
law.
I
Obviously.
was privileged in 2022 to farm, to be a part of the group that writes the curriculum for the school in environmental development and cleaning ups and how we could implement the environmental trust activities within the school. So I work with the team that did that. And I mean, this is what we were doing from a point of view of the primary school and within the secondary school. So I was privileged in writing the manual. And I mean, there are loads of things that are there that is there to protect the environment, to protect the society, to protect community. And if we've got that at that level, the organization that have overall responsibility, should do much better than that and have a better argument on the table for the public.
the slap in the face too is that the punishment for creating these spills and creating these environmental
joke.
damage is less than the cost of
Sure.
cleanup. So you might as well just do it, pay the fine, and then keep
Yes.
it pushing.
Right.
Cause it less.
Right.
That's
Those are the
it.
things
So-
that need to be updated. Those are the
and
things
you know-
part of the regulation that need to be addressed.
Yeah, I see them like Citrus company. They don't show that they don't really care about the environment, you know. Just because they're gonna make a backdoor deal, I'm sure they don't really care about
Yeah, man.
really and truly. They don't really care about
People,
it really and
they don't
truly.
care about
Yeah,
people.
they don't really care about the
their
people.
practices
well.
in
Yeah, man.
producing
Business.
orange juice and all
The-
these other
And the
things that
food,
they are
yeah,
producing
man. Yeah, man.
and
We-
giving
we
to
have
the
a
public
drink.
and the
Same thing.
consumers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
You can imagine. Them people I give you food to eat.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You can imagine what else they don't care about.
Yeah, man.
We've
For
seen,
real,
Yeah.
man.
we've seen the way they
Yeah.
look vendor. They look around the crab vendor in Kingston. They look around the crab vendor.
Yeah.
The whole circle. Lockdown.
Right.
The whole circle. Lockdown.
Because of the little, yeah.
Yeah, them money not up. Them money not up.
They can't
The
afford to
mess.
pay.
The mess.
Them money
Yeah.
not up. Them money not up.
Yeah, man, but that's, NEPA,
Hey, you can't
do
reach
better.
out there, thousand.
No, them money not up. Them money not up at all, brother. Yeah, man.
NEPA, do better.
better.
No
Yeah,
non-disclosure. We have to
definitely.
know what
Yeah,
go on.
man.
And
Yeah,
no
man, I got
backdoor
the
deal. No
Transparency.
backdoor deal.
Do
Transparency.
the
No,
right
backdoor,
thing.
you mad man.
Mm.
Do the
Public
right
don't
thing.
know what's
backdoor
going
deal.
on. That's not that.
Yes,
Do the
sir.
right
You
thing.
give
For the
thanks to the
blockchain.
moment. Do remember to like, share, and
for the blockchain.
Like without ever
do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Do remember Brother Delani on YouTube and Clear Thinking on TikTok. This has been another Balanced Views. Thank you, Brother Yaga, aka Teacher Maat, Bingi,
Give thanks for life.
Okavango, the Rebel Guru, Brother Delani.
Give thanks, brother, my lad.
I am yours truly, Ras Dada. We do give thanks to the movement and for this opportunity of reasoning, you know? Yes, sir.
Shit.
Bingi, Okavango, Rasdada, Yaga, Chuck Friend of the Living Fire represent to the fullest. See, perfect balance. Don't know